When Women Speak and New Jersey Poetry Events presents When People Speak, Poetry and Conversation with Pop-Up Poetry Guests. Our pop-up poetry lineup will be
So James, we're going to keep the program moving with more poetry, more poetry, more poetry. And I think that we'd like to have some work from you, the hostess or the co-hostess of When People Speak. Are you up to it? I'd love to
Oh
hear.
yeah, always up to it. Always up to it.
Okay, so I'd love to hear your pieces because they are so drenched in not only wordplay but the sciences. It gives me an opportunity to see the geek in you come out in poetry, and you do that fabulously. So I'd like to hear something. I'm getting off the stage.
All right. This next piece is called Outer Space and Outer Space. Some say my mind is in outer space. I say I'm out of space. Space and time, mere extensions of this world. My thoughts contain mysteries of dark matter, that which is invisible, but whose forces interact with every celestial body. Kind of like Black people, society's dark matter made to be invisible, but whose power and influence is felt. Or like black holes, powerful, unseen, and unknown. Blacks are synonymous with the afterthought or the thought after the afterthought, only thought about when someone happens to ask, did you really think about them? Some say my mind is in outer space. I say it's outer space, space and time, mere extensions of this world. For instance, you got to be at such and such a place at such and such a time. When cells are said to change, replace themselves, then who really's at such and such a place at such and such a time? And how would that relate to clones? If they're replicas of us, and the only thing that's constant is change, then that would mean your clone isn't a replica at all. All your thoughts and instincts, a thing of the past. I know what you're thinking. I have truly lost my marbles. But if madness is genius, then call me a mad genius. My mind is in outer space for all the enigmas that I ponder. I sit in secluded rooms and let my mind wander of things like the Big Bang Theory. And that's exactly what it is, a theory that has yet to be proven. Those scientists waste their lives away on it, and they spend more time trying to cure cancer than the common cold. See, I was told you have to crawl before you walk. My mind is in outer space because my third eye keeps blinking, thinking of places, people, places, and things. But don't turn out the lights because I see dead people at night. People who paved the way for people like me to live, who whisper in my ear that it's time for me to give that which they already gave. And so it begins that I translate my thought, translate them into actions, only taking a fraction of the time to process in my mind what I download on paper, then download the excess information so I may have more room, more memory. But you still think I'm out of place. You still think I'm in outer space when maybe it's your mind that has too much space and not enough thoughts to fill it. Outer space and outer space.
Wow, partner. Wow. Like I'm always interested in knowing what space are you in when you come up with the inspiration, the words, the feeling behind your poetry.
Mm. It's usually inspired by some kind of stimuli, whether it be TV or just something that just comes across my mind, and I just let my mind wander and go into places, you know, with freedom and with liberty. I just love just pondering different things and putting them into words and playing around with words and to come up with a concept, you know, from a different perspective or a different way of thinking. So that's how usually I come up with the material.
See, that's the beauty of poetry and the beauty of platforms like this. When the artists come up, we're not expecting anybody to sound like the person before them. So we all have our own uniqueness. We all have our own ways of bringing our voices to the surface, and we all have our own interests. Now, I'm thinking with your poems, especially, um, some of the ideas and concepts that you use, you're looking at this alternate existence. Like maybe what's going on in our current society is just a little bit tough on humans. And so you're in this place that I'm thinking it's your euphoria. And
Mm,
it's planets, it's space, it's freedom, it's time, it's coolness. I don't know that. I don't know why that thought comes to mind when I hear your poems. Good job, good job.
thank you, thank you.
What we got coming up next?
Well, you got another poem for us, if you would like to share.
You know what? I've gotten like 3 texts in my phone here. I wrote a poem recently, and I performed it like 2, 3, 4 times. I'm like really sick of the poem at this point, but I have like 4 texts here saying, "Please do that poem. I'm listening." I'm going to go ahead and do this poem that I was telling people that I wrote the other day on Martin Luther King birthday, and um, it was just out of being on January 15th again and again and again and again and again and looking down and thinking like, have we really gotten to that mountaintop? Have we really conquered some of the things that it's like a chronological timeline of my life. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to perform that poem that I told you that I wasn't going to do tonight. How about that?
It's a very good poem, by the way.
Well, bear with me, guys. The title of this poem is "This Ain't No I Have a Dream" poem, and it was written January 15th, in thinking about Martin Luther King. All right, so here we go. This ain't no I have a dream poem. Dear Reverend King, happy birthday, Reverend King. But this ain't no I have a dream poem. Because dreams deferred are like tsunamis when unleashed, quaking and rushing, leaving no time to think. So why not today? I stood with my hand crossed, holding and folded over my heart, pledging my allegiance to a flag that never alleged anything to me. But this ain't no I have a dream poem singing we shall overcome. We shall overcome never appealed to me. Get it? I was 10. Hand over heart, words splat, lift every voice and sing, knowing all along I was born by the river in a little tent. And oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. And mama and them cried and sang the blues, watching views of Kennedy Kennedy and Cook and Malcolm and Herbert Lee and Medgar Evers and James Chaney and Viola Lusa and Fred Hampton and the unknown Robert Spike and Warwick Jackson until Emmett Till in open caskets, boxes like pine was our favorite wood. Black memories of timelines and histories, non-spoken in his story or her story, but it's still our story. No, this ain't no I have a dream poem. Cause see, I was 4. I was 4 when King peacefully forged forward for freedom and jobs and freedom and life and little white kids and little black kids having futures of hands linked in bonds of human existences. But ain't it something when they wasn't talking about me and free, not me? Nah, I have a dream that one day. No, but this ain't no I have a dream poem. I was 6, you see, when someone yelled, "Get your hand out my pocket!" And shots fired like rockets, popping dreams and spirits and lives into futures of dead places. So they thought, no justice, no peace. They left his family crying in the street. I am a man banners flew free, tattered and shredded into dreams over decades and decades of more. We shall overcome. But when? This ain't no I Have a Dream poem, cause see, I was 9. I was 9 when the fingers pointed to the skies, or maybe it was the North Star. Sweet Lorraine was a motel. Shots fired, dreams painted on faces moved to fingertips, and someone yelled, I won't get to the mountaintop with you. I won't. Before dropping in all, took a knee in tears and pain and rains of more. I have a dream, but it's gonna be deferred. Yeah, don't you know? I was 2. I was 2 when we went on that freedom ride. I was 5 when my rights became legal. Bloody Sunday was my 6-year-old birthday memory. Ode to Selma, burn, Mississippi, burn. That was my freedom song. 8 when a man became the greatest. Ali, Ali, Ali. I was 9 when you told me I was allowed to live free. Lee. Any house, anywhere, just not over there. I was 9 when the Chicago 7 walked the line, 11 when the first black mayor of my city went to work, 13 when Shirley, run. But pass the baton to Jesse when you're done. 'Cause see, I was 25 and then again 29. And it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. 'Cause see, I was 49. I was 49 when it came time for a black man to lead the country. Tell me, have we overcome? And you know the rest. I'm just too ready, I guess. A change gonna come, oh yes it will. But this right here, this ain't no I Have a Dream poem. Brooks, Floyd, Taylor, Sterling, Gray, Garner, Rice, Amadou, just to name a few. They all had dreams too. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. They matter to me. Now watch your feet. Watch out for those letters in the street. 'Cause this right here ain't no I Have a Dream poem. So wake up, wake up, wake up. 'Cause dreams live where you sleep. Dreams live where you sleep, and it's been a long time coming. But now, I think I'm able to carry on, 'cause change gonna come. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. King. In the key of Stevie, I wonder. Thank you. Whew, that takes some energy to pull that one. So, yeah. So that was like my life in chronological order. So I'm still like here trying to figure out why does it feel the same after all of those things happened in my lifetime. Like I'm tired of I have a dream. I want somebody to say we woke up and we got some action going on and we made change. We did it for ourselves. We're not looking for anybody to change our situation. We're gonna learn, we're gonna educate, and we're gonna educate others, and we're gonna change our own condition. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, and we can't give up hope, because the minute that we give up hope, then the game is over. And and we have to also leave, footprints for the next generation, so they can, take, our struggle to higher heights, where we don't have to struggle so much. The thing that last line, I always wanted to ask you about that last line about Stevie. What did you mean by that? I have my own, interpretation, but I wanted to hear it from you. What did you mean by that last line?
Because see, like when we analyze poetry, we get our own perspective. So if you're asking my perspective, it's like we're singing happy birthday again and again and again to the one person. If you ask any child, any black, white child, a black child, who do they know for Black History Month? They know Rosa Parks. They know Martin Luther King. They know Barack Obama now. And now, as of January 20th, they know Kamala Harris. 4 black people out of the numerous others that shed blood, tears, and sweat across this country to build it, to help make it, and are still being disenfranchised. So that last line is singing happy birthday the old fashioned way, but then we as black people, when we get together, we celebrate somebody's life, we sing it in the key of Stevie. you know, Stevie, because January 15th, it took a long time for that day to even become a national holiday, right? So
Yeah.
the very last line is, I'm wondering, it's like a play on Stevie Wonder, but I'm wondering, like, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for us to first get our human rights and be equal in the society that we built? Okay?
Mm,
So that's what
mm,
that means to me. Now you
mm,
can analyze it and come up with how you feel about it and where you are in the current situation. But I think I'm completely angry at this point. So
mm.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
not that poem. Every time it's recited, it's like 15 minutes of conversation. But we got more we got more poems coming. Who's up? Who's up?
Indeed, indeed. It's time for our first feature. And I'm real excited about our first feature because I had the pleasure of collaborating with him on my project, on my spoken word album. But he has since released a phenomenal book, and I can't wait for us to talk about it. But before we, bring this talented poet from Newark by the name of Ras Heru up, I want to play something for a video of a spoken word piece entitled "Scars," and I think it's definitely suitable and for this
The
event.
backs of my stanzas bear the scars of yesteryear. If you hold them close, you can hear cracking whips, ripping poems into flesh. Mama called me yesterday. She said, today you drew breath, won't you bless it with a poem and send it home so I can show my friends prayer works? My bones still hurt, my legs still ache, my head still heavy and my hands still shake. I still quake when red, whites, and blues pierce through my rear views as I rid myself of all my illegals, and yet I still can't manage to find proper place to dispose my skin. The ink within my pen, the skin of strange fruit swinging from southern trees, the leaves, they bend into the wind as they write these lyrics. There is a spirit in the rhythm, a melody within the pain, scripture in the story, scars on my back, a testimony in the tear, a cry for you to hear, a lie for you to know, and room for you to grow. Tell them no, you want more, and shout it from the core. The scars on my stanzas, blood on the stage, power in the lyric. If you dare to turn a page, a raisin in the sun, a black sheep amongst the herd. If slaughter for the cause, I'll leave you but a word, love.
Hey Ross.
Peace, peace, family. How y'all doing?
Oh, good. How are you?
Doing all right.
What's up?
Good to see you, Amira. Good to see you, James.
You as well.
Hey,
So, James, am I going to introduce this young fella, or are you going to introduce him?
yeah, I'll introduce him.
Go ahead.
Ras Heru Stewart is a Newark, New Jersey born poet, artist, creative, entrepreneur, and elementary school teacher. Ras Heru poems are ongoing conversation and exploration into the cores of the things that drive people. His poems are reflective and commanding, observant and self assured, yet meek and always pondering. Executive producer of the Rhythm and Words, creative writing, and CEO of Rebel Inc. Publishing, Ras Heru's creative and professional endeavors are manifest of his mission to build, rebuild, and, and establish progressive relationships between people and communities via art, culture, and literary craft. Ras Heru's first full volume collection of poems entitled The Book of Heru, a poet's was published in 2018. His latest work, The Rubicon, the sixth publication of Rebel Inc., was published December 2020 and is also currently available. So help me at this time welcome the one, the only, Ras Heru.
Woo!
Thank you.
Woo!
Thanks, folks. You know, I'm on stage right now virtually with like Jersey's creative, like upper echelon of just amazing, people all the way down to, the homie Real as Promise here. I think Real as Promise and I have had maybe 2 or 3 stages together, and it's always cool whenever we can get down. And it's, we're literally family. I know all of you all like you're my own fresh flesh and blood, and so this is just
True.
really cool to me.
This is true. So,
We
Roz,
appreciate you.
I had the pleasure of reading for you, right? And one of my favorite parts in this book was the poem about Newark. And I don't know if that was what you planned to recite tonight, but I'm
I
hoping
did,
so.
absolutely, absolutely. I knew you wouldn't let me get off the stage without it, Amira, and I think you're being a bit humble. You are also one of the principal photographers and editors of the Rubicon. So thank you and shout out to you, Amira, and all the other amazing people. The Rubicon was definitely a creative effort. Shout out to Diana Pollard, the amazing, fantastic illustrator of the Rubicon. She is Jersey's next big thing. And so this was really a collaborative effort, and you had a whole lot to do with it.
Okay, because I was like highlighting, let's go this way, highlighting what I was going to say. But since you're going to do that poem, I'm just going to fold my cover and put it right here
Okay.
and get off this stage and let you do your thing.
Okay. So to help you out, it's coming up in like the second set here. I'm gonna give two, and then we can chat. And then when we get back, that one's coming up for you. So whatever you had saved, you definitely can still bring it out to us. So
Absolutely.
I'm reading. I'm reading from the Rubicon, and I will be reading the first two poems from the Rubicon. Just a real quick sort of synopsis of the book. The Rubicon is a personal and social tale of two individuals told simultaneously as one story. So that's me, Ras Heru, poet, educator guy right here on the stage with you. And then the other individual and the other space and story is Roman general and statesman Gaius Julius Caesar 2,000 years ago. And so everything that you hear, most of these poems, the same story, whether it's something personal or something political, it's being told so that you're not sure which protagonist is speaking. And at times it's both, because that's the reality. And so I had to kind of like lay that out before getting into it. But let's go. This first poem is called Outbreak / The Crossing. This is the start of civil war. This is a commentary on the carnage unraveling within since mother was split on the 13th of a Friday in fall, meaning this is the hall of records in which you will find the catalogs of marches I've led at times against my own right mind, meaning this is the chronicle of an olive branch alchemized into a noose, the tragic tale of a dove frantically gasping for air, the future declared dead. My iniquities, suited, booted, and spread in homicidal formations, awaiting the trumpets to sound the beginning of the slaughter, meaning this is the genesis of the genocide, and I am a bad joke. Waiting to be rewritten, I am fruit forbidden from all the tongues of ones wishing to remain safe. I am the escape room with really no escape at all. I am Julius Caesar's Achilles heel. I am when keeping it real ain't right. I mean, when keeping it real is really, really wrong. I mean, I am the song your grandma told you only fast kids dance to. I'm the sweet that will leave you sour. I will devour all of the flowers in your garden as pretty things with potential and possibility at life seem to be the only things that satiate my appetite. And I promise to ruin you if you let me. I promise to be the worst thing you've ever loved. I promise to be the pool of tears of which you thought you were prepared to raid, the charade of escapades of which you thought you could persuade into some sort of sanity. I promise to be everything you never wanted, wrapped in everything that has ever delivered you satisfaction. I promise to be your doom. I promise to consume you. I promise to consume you. The moment you place me at your lips and light me, I promise to lift you. I promise to leave you high, helpless, and handled unless you are ready to discard with me now. I promise to ruin you. Thank you. So that is a cautionary tale about, that is Outbreak / The Crossing. In the second poem, I'll talk about it after performing, but if there were a single to this book, this poem here would probably be it. It's a favorite of mine, and it's called A Cautionary Tale About Stones. I am the stone that should forever be refused. I am the fiasco fabricated, attempting to take shape behind the facade of pretty poems. I am the pretty that is poison. I am the cautionary tale told about poets. I am the shine that will blind you. Please take caution. Take care is all I have to spare you, is the allure of things, the charm of the sirens, a price tag that you will ultimately wish that you could not afford, a perfume that will never amount to more than the stench of bad memories. I am the morning. MORUNING. I am the morning after the party. Something like what is left behind from destructive combinations of ill intentions and wrong decisions. I am ambition unhinged. I am the binge that does not sleep. I am a crude apology forever unable to weep. I am a coming storm sick of its own forecast, a lasting trauma with a talent for leaving impressions upon the life you used to know. I wasn't asked for and I know it. Great republics have fallen because of me. Families have been introduced to carnage because of my sword's thirst for glory, a story told for thousands of years that still ends in the same bloody mess. Blessed and obsessed with the power to rearrange your calendar, I can assure you your days are numbered should you decide not to heed my warnings. I'm worn out. My eyes will swallow more than bones can carry. My liver can tell you stories that my leaders would shame. My name has been many things across the years, though it has never really mattered. They say all is fair in love and war. Or what they always fail to tell you is that semantics is all that ever really separates the two. What they always fail to tell you is that there's no act amongst mortals that can't be summarized as an act of one or an act of the other. What they always fail to tell you is that all that decides which is where you were standing when the sword is unsheathed. What they always fail to tell you is that what you love will break you. What they always fail to tell you is that there are no winners in war. All that's left from the siege are the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the traumatized. I tell you, I am the stone. Ask Goliath about my damage. Ask Debo what a brick can do. Ask them both how dirt tastes. Ask them both if the sleep is any more peaceful after the fall. Ask yourself if you are really, really ready to cast the die and risk it all on a stone already warning you. So never entrust it with your dreams. Never build your sandcastles upon me, because when the battle lines have been broken and the sunrise has come to greet the earth at dawn, all that will be left are the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the traumatized, the dead and the fucking traumatized. Cautionary tale about stones.
So, whew, we got a couple of questions for you, bro.
Sure, talk to me. Hope y'all enjoyed that.
Yeah, Mia's back there losing her mind in the VIP section over your work here. She's like a great poet in herself, so she recognizes.
Shout out to Mia. Mia's fantastic. She's a legend. Shout out to the sis.
Love Mia. Yeah. We love Mia, but we also love Ras Heru at this point, and Julius Caesar. And you be talking some stuff that everybody might not know about. What is a Rubicon?
Great. So a Rubicon is many things, and I won't answer it too directly because you can pop open the book for it, right? I can't give it all to you. But essentially, the Rubicon was a river in Rome that acted as a border for Rome. And when Caesar was the governor out in Gaul after being head of state and conquering more Gallic land in the name of Rome, but also in the name of himself, he comes back into Rome, and the Senate tells him that if you don't drop your army and bring yourself in as a formal private citizen for us to arrest you, we're going to have a problem. And so Caesar disobeys that order, that mandate, and he crosses the Rubicon River with his army, which leads to civil war and kind of the birth of Western civilization as we know it. Since then, having a Rubicon moment or crossing the Rubicon just dictates having a moment that is a point of no return. It's once something that has happened, or once you've made this decision or you've stepped into this territory, things are changed now. So anything that you would consider, or any person for that matter, that you would consider a point of no return, where things are different once they have arrived or after whatever has happened, that is a Rubicon.
Pretty cool. James, you want to talk to this brother about some Roman antics here? Because I got another question if you don't.
I want to go. The first piece that you did, that was Outbreak and the Crossing, correct?
Correct.
One of my favorite poems. I mean, look at these lines. This is the genesis of the genocide, and I, well, I'm a bad joke waiting to be written. I am fruit forbidden from all tongues of ones wishing to remain safe. I am the escape room with really no escape at all. Talk to us about those couple of stanzas.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I really like those stanzas too, right? And so the genesis of the genocide, the beginning of the end, the book sort of metaphorically takes or picks up with the crossing of the Rubicon, which is why it's called. That's why it's called Outbreak / the Crossing, the name of the poem. And those lines really are just about setting the stage for the fact that, you know, whoever the speaker is in this poem, whether it's Ras Heru, whether it's Julius Caesar, the speaker in this poem is admitting that they are a force, and being a force doesn't inherently mean being a positive force all of the time. And so Julius Caesar, as I, am many things, but if one thing for sure that we I don't think is deniable is that these individuals are forces, you know, and that poem is also written at a really, you know, chaotic, you know, time, you know, when I wrote it, and so there are, you know, personal lines there that really are me speaking to me, you know, but at the bigger whole of it is recognizing that, yo, I'm something here, that now that I'm here, whatever you thought tomorrow was, or whatever you thought yesterday was, it won't be that tomorrow.
Mm. Okay, so like we're gonna move you along because the audience is like asking for more, more, and more. So
Okay. Okay.
we're gonna grace us with another piece.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So these next two. So the book is broken up into four sections. All of the sections are named after Roman terms. And this first section, the first two poems were called out of the chapter called Imperium. I'm going to read a third poem from that section, and it is one of Amira's favorite. Uh, and I hope it will become a lot of people's favorites because it's
Okay.
surely one of mine. It's called The Streets of Home, or
All
a
right.
poem about North.
Let's go.
Let the headlines tell it. There is never a wrong day for somebody somewhere to catch a body where I'm from. In defense of the truth, you let me tell it, and I will tell you. Such a statement isn't really all that inaccurate. A punchline packed with enough potent truth to crack your funny bone, I can promise you the streets are home and no joking matter. Name the smoke you want, I know a block that'll bring it. Streets are always watching, yet nobody ever seen it. A city well acclaimed for both its infamy and fame, you know the name, I dare you say it. Pronunciation of the word is the test of your survival, known to champion your cause or for picking off your brightest idol. What's in the water? What's in the water? X marks the spot of the ballroom plot. What's in the water? What's in the water? City man, what's the plan? What you keeping in your closet? Corrosion of the soul, now the weapon is the faucet. What's the cost of current losses? A city worth of blues, but what else is city news? Camera crews point and shoot like how a gangster makes his bones. A taker's itch for good times will leave your happy days postponed. Where I'm from is no television sitcom. Hunger pains and quest for change will make a man do anything but sitcom. The wrong line cross can have your jaw rearranged. A natural attraction to flames. We always just around the corner from a riot or rebellion. Always just up the block from disseminating our latest set of ass whoopings. Only 5 minutes away, always from catching the next come up. Only ever needing half a reason to activate a run up. I love it here. Contribute a new art to your novel. Solidify with brute force where the pen can't clean. Pivotal yet far from pristine. The rawest and realest glimpse of a world you've never seen. Black hoodies and mesquines, bean pies and final calls. Brothers and sisters out to get it will turn your corner block into a strip mall. I tell you, the streets of home are like the streets of Rome. And as a native son, I'm here to assure you that the bigger I get, the more you should be concerned with me. For what reason, pick one, for I'm sure they're all valid. Brilliant, beautiful, barbarous, otherwise not always safe, even lethal on a wrong day. My point is, the headlines are only slightly off base. Politicized against me, sure, but not always wrong. Name your valor, name your vice, villainy, or virtue, I assure you. It all leads here. It all starts here. It all stops here. The streets of home. Ooh, I love that piece. You know, I feel like anyone who is from here loves it here, and anyone who knows me outside of Newark or inside of Newark will know that I'm a very proud city of the sun. Son of the city. And I feel like with that being said, as a poet, every artist has to have some piece that, or out of their medium, that kind of speaks to that home. And so I love that piece. This next piece is called uh, "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?" I was talking earlier about a cautionary tale, and if this book had singles, the first one would be cautionary tale, and the second one here would be rain. I am the unconquered. When provoked or otherwise bothered, I invoke the spirits that make men and mortals and cowards kings. So in the face of tyranny, I sing songs of strength. Tell me, please, have you ever seen the rain? A wrecking ball's kiss to any obstacle out to stop me. I consider a gauntlet thrown to be an act of romance, and I'll dance with whomever. I ask you again, have you ever seen the rain? I know every single genre of seduction, and plus, I know why warfare is sexy. I am here for the feast and not selfish in the least. No surrender and no retreats. The legions would love a leader like me. Decreed in more than just the art of war, I can assure you a new era. A policy that provides a dominion over the darkness that resides both inside and out, an empire that never sees the sunset, a living example of the phrase, if I ain't dead, then I ain't done yet, a soldier's silhouette and a polymath's mind, a kind man and a jealous God. I gave New York insomnia way back. Reduced Pompeii to ash the last time a city made me angry. Almost lost the pyramids in a dice game. I ask you again, have you ever seen a reign like mine? Call me commander. Imperator. Set the stage so that my triumph is grand. May the people stand and band in the streets for the feats accomplished in their name. No, I do not claim to be king as I am something far more complex. I do not aim to be a god as I am something far more original. My status is seminal. My principle is pivotal. My pinnacle achievement will be that human history never forgets what we did here. So cheer me as I cheer for you. Let every corner of the globe hear us laugh, dance hard enough to scare off anyone with weak hips. Let them know that we live life fiercely, that we greet doubt with indignation, that fate is but a loud mouth taking advantage of the fact that we both forgot who's really in charge here. Paint my face red, color my robe purple, look to the future through whatever kaleidoscope you choose, but do not doubt that the light we show the world today will change it tomorrow. Make no mistake, I am no rainbow myself. Reach the pot of gold at the end of me, and you will be just as likely to find dynamite. The real question is just how high do you really, really want to be? Whatever your answer, believe I've got the gas for your trip. A resume that stretches from here to the moon, the mic to make wrong right and right righter. This is the part of the poem that summons your lighters to a position above your shoulders. This is the part of the poem where you decide to hold the spark in you so high that the sun has no choice but to file a grievance. I guarantee that you will never know a rain like mine. And I will finally dine in hell or be halfway to Hades before I sell myself short, only ever resorting to wrath for tactical reason. And come this season, you'll know just why. My reign is inevitable. Whew. Have you ever seen the rain?
Man, you have the audience out there going crazy. Like I think this type of work is unique. I like your individuality. I like the fact that with each poem, we really have to have our ears on to not only keep up, but to really get into the groove and into the mood of where you're putting us with these poems. It's amazing. It really is amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
like James and I went through this book, and James came up, he's like got all of these quotes that he wanted to like talk about from the book and that kind of thing. So I think we're gonna have a private conversation about the research that James and I were talking about before we brought you up. But before you leave our stage, can we just ask you, what did you want this book to accomplish?
That's a great question. So personally, I wanted the book to show in measurement the growth just from book two or book one to book two, right? I think it is important that as artists, we are always challenging ourselves. And I wanted the opportunity to challenge and prove to myself just the growth in artistry. So internally, externally, I wanted to sort of bring together all that I am as person, as poet, as writer, as historian, as advocate, as fighter, as everything, and bring it together. And while I was getting prepared for book two, I'm on a plan to produce a book every 2 years for 10 years. And so while I was getting prepared for book two, the historian in me, I come across some reading on Julius Caesar, and I found myself kind of like diving down a rabbit hole in my research. And one of the reasons why that happened was because I found myself able to channel stories of my own via stories of his. So things that I wanted to exercise and channel and express personally, Ras Heru in 2020, politically and socially, Ras Heru in 2020. I found a historical inspiration to tell that story through. And so, answer one internally is proving my own growth as an artist. Answer two is making sure that with book two, I gave something that was all of me in the highest form that I can do it, both as artist and thinker. And I think I did that with the Rubicon.
I think you have mission accomplished, and I think James is trying to give our audience where they can find your book. What's up, James?
Yeah, you can find the Rubicon, which is his latest book, on Amazon, as you can see here, and also his previous book released in 2018, the Book of Heru, A Poet's Portrait. I meant to say that originally, A Poet's Portrait. So go ahead, definitely get a copy. Both books are phenomenal, and you know already the Rubicon is phenomenal. But we're going to definitely have to bring you back and just do a whole feature with you, because I really want to go a little bit deeper into your book, because it is truly an amazing project and some of the best and most innovative words I've ever encountered. So
exactly.
we definitely got to bring you back and just do a whole feature with you.
I would love to, man. I've got 2 full sets ready and prepared for 35 minutes, 40 minutes apiece. I'm sorry, Mara. Go ahead.
We know. But before you leave our stage, just let me tell you that Positive, Catherine, Clarissa, and Christina and Hafiza, they are out there like yelling in the Facebook Live arena. And
thank you so much.
I hope with all of that yelling, they've done some book purchasing, because they were definitely giving you lots and lots of props over there in Facebook Live. And I just want to say thank you so much for gracing our stage. And like James says, hopefully you'll be back. This won't be your last time on When People Speak.
Thank you, folks. Amira and James, Jersey is thankful to you and all that you do. So thank you for allowing me to be here. I'll come back every other time I can.
How do kids do it? Peace, love, and happiness. Thank you, Ras.
Take care. Thank you.
Woo! I gotta catch my breath, James. Man, like that's in a whole nother level on its own.